and welcome back to another episode of Daily Cribbage. We are facing Darren. Darren. They cut a 5, we cut a 10. So, opponent's first crib. What do we like here? Be nice to keep ace 4, 10, but then we have to split up the pair of knights. I'm thinking we can go 3 jack or ace 3. A lot of options. I'll just go 3 9 here. We'll keep 9 and 10 next to each other and keep 2 cards that make 15. See if we can get 15. Nope, they want to pair that. So let's play out our 9. It's fairly safe. 3. And we'll go up to 30 because we have an ace and our opponent probably has more 2s than aces there. So we don't get, or we're not giving away so many 31s. Our opponent had a nice 7, 8 left, and with the 9 on top, it combos really nicely. So 14 points to them, 6 points to us. We're off to a slow start, but then we pick up 5 triple 10 with a 6 9 in the crib. So really nice. We pick up a 9 on top, which is really good for us actually. That combos with our crib. And let's see if they have the pair of 3s. They don't have anything bigger than less than a 3, so just triple queen for our opponent, so they don't quite make their average. Let's see if we can make our average. We only see 6 there, so alright, we do make our average. 26, 21, and off to round number 3. We've got a pair of kings in hand, and well, if we keep the jack, then we keep ourselves open with the queen for the double run. The 7 9 in the crib I don't really want to do. I'd like to keep the 4 in hand, so that so naturally leads us to 7 jack. Sort of a lot of compromises we had to make in that discard. Maybe we'll come back to this one. Alright, they cut a jack, and we'll lead, well, 4, 9 or king. Just go with the 9. Next we go with the king. Opponent only has a 7s plus. They've got an 8 and a queen. 6, 8 queen and a 7. Was that all diamonds? I think it might have been. I don't think their 6 was there was a diamond. Okay. So a pretty strong hand for our opponent, getting them into position to get to 44. Alright, we got the 3, 5, 6, 7 if we want it for 5 points, or we can keep 5 jack jack, throw away 6, 7. Hopefully pick up some 8s in the crib. What have we got here? Just go up to 14. They'll play their ace. Or they'll play their 3 instead, and we'll pair the 3, and we'll get the 3 card run. Really nice. Maybe they got a 5 left over. Alright, so we managed to get a lot out of that play. So our opponent makes their milestone, but we sort of do a little leapfrog over them. Not a huge leapfrog. We're not expecting to get to our next milestone yet. But maybe with something good in the crib, we can make that happen. We are a little bit behind, so we could ask for a high roll going 9, 7. I don't think this is so bad. So it's a higher average than what we probably want to be throwing away. But when that doesn't make points, when 7, 9 doesn't make many points in the crib, it makes very few points in the crib. It's sort of high variance. Opponent showing us a lot of scary things. Yeah, 3, 4, double 5 for the 8-point double run, and then another couple of 15s, so 12 points indeed. And opponent gets the maximum in the crib there. That was a real shame. This one is Jack Queen. I think we're pretty close to being out, although Although the 6 on top's good for us, let's go 9. So we can pair a 2 if they have it. Maybe we can start assuming they don't have 2s here. 3, 4, 5. Opponent knows how to get those 3, 4, 5s in hand. Very strong. 8 points. 8 points for us. It's going to be very hard to recover from that 24-point crib. But if anyone's going to do it, let's hope it's us. We'll throw away probably Jack King. Which Jack? Well, we have both a diamond and a club, so it sort of doesn't matter. 777 is nice. And we'll get rid of our Jack. Okay, 5s plus for our opponent. And 9. Okay, they had an 8. And I guess a 10 maybe. 7 through Jack for our opponent. No, they had a king instead of a Jack. That was our Jack on the play. Okay. Got a double run. Fortunately, it has to be lots of 10s, so it's fairly easy for our opponent to play around. Our double runner turns into 11 points. Opponent has the king. And we get 3 points out of this play, but opponent scored plenty of points. So it's very hard for us to get anything going unless we can get one of those magical 20-point hands. Let's see if we can get 4 5s. Why not? Nope, that's not 4 5s. And, well, we are keeping a lot of 10s. And I think this is probably going to be game over. Let's play it out. Let's see what they kept. They kept 3, 4, 2, 2. Because they wanted to get a lot of points in hand, I guess. I mean, that's probably too many points to keep. You don't have to do that, but that is good game. How did we do overall? Well, we lost out a little bit on the play. We lost out actually quite a lot in hand. I thought it was closer than that. I guess during the middle of the game, our opponent did get a lot of 5s, a lot of double runs through 5s. And in the crib, we got outscored there as well. Let's jump back to a critical moment. One of the main things that really destroyed us this game was the huge crib that our opponent got after this hand, or during this hand. Our opponent ended up throwing away a pair of 8s and a 7 came up on top, if I remember right. And this gave our opponent a crib when we threw away 7-9 that was worth 24 points. And this put our opponent in a really controlling position. Just with a 24-point crib, their score was taken up to 70, so already at the next positional milestone. But what's the idea? Why did I throw away 7-9 here? Let's maybe have a think what the options are. So we've got ace 3, 7, 9, king, king. We're at 51, our opponent's at 46. They're in a reasonable looking position, and if they fall just a little bit behind, then we're going to be in a really great position because our opponent's going to be just behind where they need to be, and we're going to have plenty of time to make up to the next milestone, or if it's at the end of the game, plenty of time for us to win. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to put us in a position where hopefully our opponent would fall behind by sort of gambling a little bit with their crib. So I went 7-9, and if they hit a good crib, then it does put them in a good position and turns out maybe even a winning position. But if they don't hit such a good crib, then 7-9 really doesn't provide many points. And why is that? Well, it's because they're quite close together. So if you think about all of the hands that are scoring very low numbers of points, then those consist of groups of cards that are clumped together that have space in between them. So for instance, ace 2, 7, 9, and a 10 of some kind. That would be a 0 scoring hand, and 7, 9 is not really contributing to that in any way. And you can think that, well, if the 7, 9 was a bit closer, so if we fill in the gap with an 8, then it produces loads of points, but as long as we can dodge that, then we're at most, so we're going to give away points on pairs of 7s and pairs of 9s. We might give up some points on 6s, but we're generally going to be doing all right. Unfortunately, one of the things that throwing 7, 9 away does is that it does mean that our opponent does throw away a few more 8s than normal, because we're blocking the 7, 8 combos in hand, so there are a lot more rogue 8s that end up in the crib. And I say a lot more, it's just a few more. It's not a huge effect. But why would we want to take such a risk? Well, it's because I wanted to have a slightly better hand. I wanted to be a bit greedy, and I wanted to keep our ace and 3 in hand, which would give us more ways to make 15s with our kings. So if we only, so the main other option in this hand, other than throwing away 7, 9, in my opinion, is throwing away ace 9 or ace 7. I think ace 9 is a little bit safer than ace 7. Is that true? No, ace 7 is self-blocking. So ace 7 is self-blocking in that the 15, the natural 15 combo with ace 7 is another 7, and because we're throwing away a 7, there are fewer 7s our opponent would be throwing away. Whereas the natural 15 combo with ace 9 is with a 5, and that's 5s are things our opponent really likes to throw away. So, and you can also think of things like just a 5 on its own, but also like 2, 2, 3 or ace 4. That would combo quite well with the ace 9, whereas it doesn't combo so strongly with the ace 7. So I think maybe ace 7 on balance is the second best option, and maybe next is ace 9 or 3, 9. 3, 9 is also self-blocking for the same reason that ace 7 is self-blocking. So 3, 9, in order to make that up to 15, you'd require throwing away another 3. So it's a little bit safer than 3, 9 is a little bit safer than 3, 7, but I think ace 7 is safer than 3, 9. Hopefully you got out of that. So I'm sure that when we have a look in a moment, the computer is going to suggest you should throw away ace 7, and then probably throw away ace 9 after that, or 3, 9, and then the other one, and then finally you should throw away 3, 7, and then maybe throw away 7, 9 after all of those options. Maybe this is a 5th rate discard. But I think that the hand is worth a few more points. And by a few more points, I mean, we're talking in the regions of, like, on average, like 0.2, 0.3 of a point. But it has much higher variance. So when our opponent's crib is going to hopefully score sort of closer to 0 and 2 points more of the time, and when it makes big scoring points, it's going to score that more. It's going to score bigger points at a higher frequency than, say, ace 7 and ace 9. But we'll have a look at that in a moment. So that was what I was trying to do here. Unfortunately, it backfired in a big way, and we ended up being sort of on the back foot for the rest of the game. And that is the way of things. So let's put some numbers to these, and let's see how many more points we were giving away with the 7, 9, and let's see how many more points our hand is worth by keeping both the ace and the 3. And here we are. This is very surprising, actually. Look at this. So the computer really likes ace 9 above all else, and it really doesn't like ace 7 at all. And why is that? Well, I said that a7 was self-blocking because in order to make 15 you need another 7, but actually it is self-blocking, but it's self-blocking to a higher score, because if a 7 comes up, or they throw away a 7, then they get 2 points for 15 and 2 points for the pair, so you're self-blocking for 4 points instead of 2 points. And similarly, 339, you're self-blocking for 4 points instead of 2 points there, because the pair of 3s and the 15. So that means that actually 7-9 as a discard sneaks up into 3rd place, and Ace-9 is quite near the top. Ace-9 is apparently the best. It doesn't matter too much that it feeds points to our opponent discarding 5s. That's not such a big effect here. And in 5th place we have 3-7 as a discard. And if we have a look at sort of the crib values, we can see that the lowest scoring ones are the Ace-9, followed by the 3-9, and then followed by the Ace-7. So this might be somewhat, I'm guessing this is somewhat related to the frequency with which our opponent is discarding the 3s and 7s. So presume 3s and 7s here, our opponent's going to discard more 3s than 7s, so I'm guessing that accounts for the difference between 3-9 and Ace-7. And the reason why Ace-9 is so much less is, well, it's because it's not making any of these overlap it. It's not making any of these more powerful combos that score you 4 points in the crib. And then let's have a look at 7-9. Right, so 7-9 on average, it does have this higher average of 5.46, but as I was trying to highlight, the standard deviation is massive, 4.23 compared to 2.79 of the Ace-9. Ace-7 and 3-9, they have slightly larger standard deviations, and that's because of the 0 or 4 point, or the 4 point combo that comes up when a 3 or a 7 respectively gets put into the crib. So let's have a look at the distributions a little bit of those cribs. So when you throw away 7-9, this is sort of what I was hoping for. I was hoping for one of these 0 or 2 pointers to come up, and maybe some of the time a 4 pointer. And I was hoping that, well, you get these 2 points more commonly with the 7-9. So we can see that, you know, in general, so with the Ace-9, you make, say, 2 points 22% of the time, you make 0 points about 6% of the time, so about 28% of the time, or just slightly less than 28% of the time, you're getting 2 or less points. Whereas with 7-9, you're getting 2 points about 25% of the time and 0.7% of the time. So that's about a third of the time you're going to be getting 2 or less points in the crib, which would be quite nice for us. That would have really helped slow our opponent down. But as you can see, the thing that sort of bites us here is over here. Yeah, the 24 points, 0.4% of the time. 0.4% of the time is very low. That is 1 in about 250 times or so. But that isn't 0. So that 1 in 250 chance it came up for us this time. And how do the hands look? Well, if we're keeping Ace-3, this was the second question we had. So we've got the hand that we kept, which is highlighted in the middle. The highlighted values are the sort of best values, just by comparison. So 7-9, when we discard it and keep Ace-3, King-King, our hand expected value is around 4, with a standard deviation of 2.5. So standard deviation is a bit higher than the other cases, but the average is also higher. And what does this mean? Well, it means that in this case, when we've got more ways for our hand to improve to 6+ points, and our hand is worth, 2 points to begin with, just like all the other cases. But in the other cases, whenever the hand improves, it's only improving by a little bit, so the standard deviation is lower there. In all the cases, we can see that the median value is 2. So let's see how this looks in the distributions. So in every case, it looks like there is the same chance of getting 2 points. So the difference is really in having a look at how we get 4, 6, or 8 or more points. As you can see, when we throw away 7, 9, there's a chance that we get 9 points, and that's going to be coming from the fact that when we hit a 2, not only do we get 6 points from the 2 15s and the 2 15s and the pair of kings, we also get 3 points for the run. And what we're effectively doing is we're taking our distribution for our ace 9 and we're cutting down. We take the bar that represents 4 points, cut that up into pieces, and sprinkle them up the top here. A little bit more for 6, and a few for 9. A few chances to get 9 points. And yeah, that was also part of the reason for choosing to discard 7, 9, because sometimes we get this happening and puts us slightly, it improves our position a little bit so that we're not so worried about falling behind our next positional milestone. So I tend to not look too much at the hand minus crib distributions. They're quite hard to read. So let's not worry about those for now. But yeah, anyway, I hope the analysis all makes sense here. And while it didn't go our way in the game today, we did manage to pick up something interesting. So that is, when we're thinking about our discards, we've got to remember to take into account these effects of how discards are self-blocking. But first of all, you've got to identify whether or not it's a big or small effect. In this case, the bigger effect is that those combos are worth 4 points when they occur, whereas the combos with ace 9 are only worth 2 points. So any combo that happens with ace 9, it has to occur at least twice as often in order for it to make the same amount of difference with 3, 9. So I hope that was enjoyable, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.